Hello.
Ah,
It's week 8 of us writing a book together.
I can't believe it's been that long.
I know. So today we're doing a little check-in. We started officially writing last week. So that's exciting. We were chatting briefly before starting to record, and then it was like, oh wait, we should just talk about this while we're recording.
Oh yeah, we're supposed to be doing this not behind the scenes, in front of the scenes. Yeah, so we were talking a little bit about the fact that we both have had crazy busy weeks. Maisie, you were in Orlando, right?
I got to see Des in person.
So jealous.
It was so fun.
They were sending us pictures, the rest of them were nerds, and we were just writhing with jealousy. So lucky. And then I'm currently selling my house, so I have people coming. It feels like a steady trickle every day of like 1 to 2 people, and I have to pretend that I'm not a slob and like clean my house up. So that's has like thrown everything off. And so I think Maisie and I are both on the same sort of page, so to speak. So yeah. we both got 1 page done. So literally the same page.
Yeah. How many? Mine might have been 2 or 1.5. Yeah, it was 2.
You're ahead of me. You got on. You got on.
I'm never the more productive one.
Yeah, you are now. You finished the prologue, and then you're starting on your first actual chapter. So you're definitely ahead of me. Yeah. Do you want to talk about how it's going so far? Like how you feel it? Well, you're not in the voice of Eden in the first prologue, but you are now. So how's that going?
Yeah, it's going all right. I think writing the prologue was fun for like finding the tone. And it gave me some ideas for what I named Eden's mom Tracy.
Nice. Yeah.
It felt like a very like name of that time. So yeah, Tracy, she just realized we have someone named Tracy in a group that we've started up. That's going to change. Yeah, right. I can't have a character named after someone I've just started interacting with a lot more. Good point. But temporarily known as Tracy, she, is at the sacrifice, and it's kind of like the first introduction to the tone of the book, like the cult. And so I thought that was fun, and it gave me some good ideas for things I want her to think and feel down the line. Eden has been a little trickier, but not terrible. She thinks a lot more than she says, but there is like an element of slightly unreliable narrator at the beginning. That's cool. And so it's like a lot of things to juggle, but I like juggling that kind of voice. I've written a lot of characters with kind of a similar voice. None quite so outwardly sweet as Eden is.
Which is so perfect.
But it feels very fun. Like I think once I get really settled into it, it's going to feel very fun slipping into her character.
It's exciting. It's funny because I find easing into a character voice is very interesting the first time you start writing them, because you're kind of figuring out who they are. I feel like I already have an idea of what Lily sounded like in my head, and it came out sort of similar to Eden in that there's a lot going on in her head that she doesn't say, but what she does say is not sweet. It's very dry and kind of blunt. She hasn't actually even had many, like I've only written 1 page or 1.5 pages or 2 pages or something, and she doesn't have a lot to say yet.
Oh yeah, you've got like 2.5 pages. Now that I've got it in the same font as mine.
I'm not even paying attention to how many pages I'm writing. Yeah, because so far I just have her, like I imagine at some point we can share little drips and drabs of the story.
Yeah.
But right now she's like on the stage at a conference, and I'm like picturing it as not like a traditional author panel. I'm picturing it as like a con. You know what I mean? Like
yeah. I've been to those a little.
Yeah, I've been to those supernatural conferences, where the actors are up on stage and there's like huge floodlights and there's a massive audience, and like the fandom is so like, not, I mean, I was gonna say not toxic, but they are kind of toxic. The fandom is like renowned for
Involved.
asking. Yeah, they ask a lot of the same questions, or like some offensive questions if you don't moderate them. So I really like the idea of this like moderator process where, you know, a girl comes up and asks a question, and you see the moderator say, no, you're not allowed asking that question. And then Lily has a moment where she's like, okay, there's only 2 questions. She wants to ask one of 2 questions, either book 2, which is like a sore subject. I'm picturing it as like a Patrick Rothfuss thing where it's like, shut up about
For the love of God, stop asking me.
Stop asking me when
I'll
it's ready. Oh my God. And then the other is about her background. So I wanted like her family and stuff. So I wanted to give that like little hint that like she has a seriously messed up past type of thing. And then one of the things, I have a little note at the end because I only got as far as the girl asked the question anyways. Lily has a moment where she almost walks off stage, and instead she like fakes a smile and has like a short answer, and then they wrap things up. And then also she walks off stage and sees her editor and this, what did I call her? Hadley Wolf or something.
Yeah.
Some very
something like that.
Yeah, some very literary author name. Because I know we talked about her like doing something terrible and shitty to a rising star type of author. And also that she would have a like kind of a rival. So I thought, I mean, like I was obviously thinking about combining them at this point. Before, I guess I didn't really think about that, but so it's going to be Hadley Wolf or whatever her name is, who is also there. Yeah, and I've made her very gay as well, so because I thought that would be like a good like introduction into like maybe Lily didn't fully make the book gay because they, you know, her and Eden haven't like confronted that feeling between them. You know, they were very young, they were teenagers. So
I don't know. My suspicion is you did not do this intentionally, but I think you should. It should be intentional. Everyone called her Lily St. Clair, which is technically Eden's last name.
Oh my God, what? I did not know that was Eden's last name.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, but I thought it would be hilarious if
she took like, that as a pen name.
And like Eden would be like, of course she likes it. Like, of course.
My gosh. That's so
where's
funny.
My note on it? Yeah, I have it here. Eden St. Clair.
Oh my God. That's so funny. Because I was like, what did I give her for a last name? And I was looking it up and I must have read it wrong. That's hilarious. Actually, that's even better then.
Yes. I read that and I was like, I don't think she intentionally did that, but I want us to make that intentional.
But that's really good. That's also such a shitty thing to do.
Right. Like you stole my diary and then you stole my last name.
My name. Yeah. Oh my God. Yes. Accidental genius.
Yes.
That's how all my genius happens.
Big same.
I absolutely just went into our Word doc and was like, where did I write down her last name, and saw it there and must not have realized it was Eden's last name.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love it.
That's perfect. Because yeah, I was like, she wouldn't use her real name because she hates her parents, which by the way, what did you put in place for the placeholders? Like,
yeah. So in my chapter, Lily's parents are there and nameless. I just put them in brackets, Lily parent 1 and Lily parent 2.
Because Maisie texted me or whatever and was like, oh, what are her parents' names? And I was like, oh yeah, I guess they need names. Bob and Linda. I don't know.
Just go Bob's Burgers.
They don't have names yet. I'll probably give them like
names,
biblical names or something if they've been all raised in the cult. I'm picturing it. It's interesting seeing in your prologue, seeing like the prophet as a young man, because I think of him as Prophet Senior.
Yeah.
So I like
like back then he would have been younger.
He would have been young and fresh faced and
shoving babies off of cliffs.
Sure, as one does when you're a young prophet. Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing I wanted to, because I ended behind the curtain. And one thing I wanted to go over was basically like, I want to do a foghorn type of noise at some point. And I'm like, what makes that noise? Like a car alarm,
it could be like a phone alarm.
A phone alarm.
Yeah.
I don't think it has enough bass.
To like really like a semi-truck horn.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, I could do something like that. Yeah, that's a good idea. And I'm also thinking that I want to do something to do with like the curtains or shadows like behind the stage. So like once she hears the horn, it spooks her and then she sees something type of thing.
If it's a con, like there could be like people cosplaying her shit or whatever. Like
that's very true.
Then it could literally just be like a sound effect that someone has that goes along with their costume.
Yeah, can you imagine if someone like they all just have like foghorn ringtones and Lily's like, this is my hell. I've created
why did I ever put this in the book?
I've created my own level of hell. Yeah, I'm also thinking because like I picture her as very literary and snobby. So she's created this literary book. It could be speculative fiction though. It could be like Night Circus style literary speculative fiction. But I kind of pictured it as being not speculative.
Yeah, I think I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Because she wouldn't really see anything that happened as speculative.
Yeah, exactly. And then because I was thinking like, do people cosplay literary books? I guess it would cosplay movies. Yeah, and I guess they would cosplay movies because I'm gonna for sure say her book has been turned into a movie. So yeah, I guess they could cosplay that.
It could be a fun detail if she didn't put the foghorn in the book at all, but they stuck one in the movie.
Oh, like, that's a good idea.
She was like, I didn't want this in there, and now these people all know this thing anyway.
Oh, that's a good idea. I like that. Yeah, maybe I'll do that. Maybe the movie is playing somewhere in the con or something.
Yeah, they like the trailer or like a creepy like ambient sound,
something like that,
screensaver type
sound
thing
of the waves and stuff. Yeah, something. I could definitely do something like that kind of like triggers her and then she sees because it's interesting you describe in the prologue the lighthouse looking like a flashlight shining through a cloth, like something along those lines. And so I had the thought that I talk about the spotlight pointed at her, and I was thinking if she's behind the stage and she sees the spotlight through that curtain, it could look creepy.
So. And like tie into the prologue some.
Yeah, so I might do something like that. And because I wanted to like, obviously with the first draft it really is just like about getting it on the page and laying out what's going to happen and in what position it's going to be in the book. So I want to go back and up the mood. Like my idea is to have this like kind of small amount of dread that builds up as we go. In each scene, it will be more dread, creeping dread. Because in the boat scene, she literally is like, can't throw away her beads type of thing. So she's freaking out essentially internally. So I know we were going to talk about what we like, how we will kind of want to do this, right? Like, yes. Going forward, I know that we had talked about, because before we jumped on, Maisie and I were saying, because of how this week has been for both of us, we got a smaller amount done than we thought, but a check-in every week does seem to help. Because I know for me, especially like last night, literally, I was like, oh shoot, tomorrow's Monday. I gotta write my chapter. So even just having it be like the marker, like, oh, every Monday we're going to just have like a little quick check-in. And so we have to have something to discuss. And even if this project ends up being something that is slow, that's okay too, because it's for fun.
Yeah. I don't hate the idea of like, I like the idea of if there's ever like, oh, we don't really need to chat about anything. If we want to, we could do like sprints together.
Or yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's a good idea. I think at one point we will want to do sprints in May, June, July. Yeah, in July. My brain is like, what month is it even?
Yeah, because at time of recording, it's May 23rd.
Yeah.
It'll be sometime after that when this actually makes it online.
A long time from now. Yeah, so I think that like we could discuss, since this is like the first time we've actually written a chapter out, talk about what we want to do as far as like editing while we go. I don't know how you and Kyra, like, I assume you send chapters back and forth.
Yeah, because we pants kind of a lot of it, we have to go one chapter at a time. So we basically can't be working at the same time.
Which is funny because we can be.
And there's like pros and cons to that. Like there is like a fun element of you could just throw anything at me and I'll have to adapt, which is like very exciting. But it does come with like, it slows things down a little.
Yeah. I would say though that because like we're both plotters, but at the same time, I don't know about you, but like I have an outline, I follow an outline, but there are still things that happen organically while I'm writing. So I think it might still be a good idea to go the way that you and Kyra do, like one chapter at a time, checking in each week. I don't know if we want to do alternating, like you would write the next one. I mean, we both wrote one this week and it was fine, right?
Yeah, I think it's fine since at this point, it seems like we're always going to know what the next scene is for each person. And like we chat about what that's going to entail.
And that would be a good, actually, the check-in is a good opportunity to be like, okay, notice you had this in your chapter. Maybe I'll go change this in my next chapter. So that it's consistent and that type of thing. So
and for me, like small detail, like the St. Clair thing, like I can, if I had already written most of my Eden chapter, which I have not, I've only written like 3 paragraphs of it. But if I had, I would like just let myself go back in and plug that in. My light just turned off. So like I definitely like doing smaller edits while I'm going. I'm also open, like if we realize halfway through, like, oh no, we're gonna change this huge thing, and we both want to take a couple steps back, that's fine by me as well. I'm not picky.
Yeah, I think if it was because what I usually do, if it's something really big we want to change, I usually adapt to it halfway through or whatever. So I'm like, okay, from this point on, I'm writing it like this, and then I'll go back and change it later.
Yeah, that's what I do with Kyra. That's what we just like leave a comment that's like, from here on out, this is the case.
This is this. And I don't know too if you want to do like going in and commenting on each other's chapters at this point, or if you want to leave that to the very end, or what you want to do about that. Because like there are a few things that I think we would both say on each other's chapters, like, but they're small things, like, what does this look like? What, for me, I was reading that and I was like, oh, what does the altar look like?
No, I'm down for comments like that.
Okay. I absolutely am, because I know that one of my issues is setting, and like even after finishing that chapter, I went in and was like, oh, what does the back of the stage look like? I don't even know. And just put in one line about how, it looks like it's red lit because the lights are coming in through the curtain. But I know right now the auditorium feels like a white room. And I need to go back through. So that's very creepy.
I thought maybe it was on a timer, but maybe not.
No, it's just spooky flickering, just horror movie style. Cool. Very thematic.
On brand.
Yeah, exactly. Also, isn't it like a haunted house thing that it's
flickering? There is a haunted house right below it. I did have a plant there before, but all my plants outgrew that spot.
So now it's literally a haunted house with a spooky flickering light. So
yeah, I'm pretty sure my child turned the light on.
No, it was definitely ghosts.
Could have been ghosts.
It was the demons, obviously.
But yeah, I love leaving comments. I love leaving little notes for myself to come back to. I also love just like screeching. Like, I
yeah, exactly. That too. Okay. I think that's a good idea too, especially because like what a combination of what we're doing in writers group, which is like a positivity pass, and then also like little notes that
like don't forget to do this later.
Yeah, exactly. Like I could go through, say yours and be like, oh, what does the altar look like? And you wouldn't even necessarily have to do it like fix it now, you can fix it later. Yeah, okay, I like that idea too. And like, because that's what I do as I'm writing to myself. Like I'll go through because I usually reread even though I tell myself I shouldn't, and then I will just put notes in the margins to be like, oh, like this is inconsistent or this has no description, and fix it later.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, and that's kind of what I do with Kyra as well. Is we'll just kind of leave. Most of the comments are just like, this is funny, because Kyra's a very funny writer. But then every now and then it'll be like, oh, like let's flesh this out in the next draft, and we just kind of go back to it during the next draft because it's like,
okay, that's perfect.
Don't need to waste a ton of resources on it right now, but
exactly. Yeah, I think that's a really that's a really good idea. But yeah, I like we didn't really get to do a positivity pass at this point, but yeah, I really liked the prologue. I thought that it was like spooky, and I liked that Jacob and Esau? No, Abraham and Isaac, right? The Abraham and Isaac thing, I was like, I instantly get that reference. I know what she's hoping for. There were instant resentment towards the prophet. Yeah. I
have a line that I'm so excited about that I couldn't find a way, like it didn't make sense to keep it in the prologue because I felt like this was like maybe a couple weeks has passed and she's had time to consider this, and now 25 years have passed, and so she's had a lot of time to think about this, living on the outskirts of this cult. But at some point I want her to have the line, because since people watching this haven't read it, she like hits the end and it seems like the baby's going to be dead, and she's like, I'm not going to think of this man as a prophet anymore. Like a prophet would have found a way to make the miracle work both ways. And then at the very end of the chapter, the baby just like washes up. It's like, hey, I'm back,
I'm
baby.
fine.
And so I have this line in my head of this like old woman who people think is like delusional, but she's like really one of the only ones thinking super clearly. But fuck the God who made me wait so long for my miracle, because she has this whole walk down the mountain to think about it. And I wanted to put it in so bad, and I couldn't make it
later
work.
It will be good later,
but I'm gonna save it for later.
Yeah. Are you doing another from her POV, or is she gonna like say that out loud?
I think she'll say it.
Okay.
I want her to say it and have it be heard that she feels that way.
I like it. I like it a lot. It's funny because like it's like a combination of some of what we were talking about, and also like, for those that don't know, I'm in a class taught by Maggie Seabotter right now. It's just over Zoom. But I'm just feel like my brain is a sponge that's absorbing all of the stuff about like symbolism and stuff. Cause like, I'm not a writer who sits down and is like, what can I put in that's symbolic? My brain just does not think that way. But something about this book, because it is spooky and it does have that sense of like foreboding to it, is starting to make my brain think that way. And I'm really enjoying that, weirdly enough. Like that's something. So actually, if you go through my little half chapter, and you can think of anything that's like, oh, this will crank up the foreboding to 10, let me know. Because I definitely want to increase that sense of building dread, essentially. So like,
and I really
sorry, go ahead. No.
I was going to say, I really love the beginning, and especially how it's going to be kind of this like almost jarring, but not too jarring that it needs to be changed, like jump from like weird seaside cult, like this
to an auditorium.
To like an auditorium. which feels like a very big horror trope. Like you see something horrific has happened and then suddenly it's like,
yeah. And we didn't even do this
day.
intentionally, but I like that it looks like we did it intentionally and that we are very smart with a capital V and an S.
Very smart.
We are very smart because you ended with a line about the light from the lighthouse. And I started with a line about the spotlight shining in Lily's face and how it was blinding, and like 100-watt accusation like being pointed at her. And I read your chapter, like read the end of it and was like, oh, that's perfect. That was not intentional. Because literally it was just my experience of sitting on stages and being like, why do they do this? I can't see anyone in the audience and I'm sweating. So I wanted her to have this moment of like being really uncomfortable sitting up there. I want to go back and like edit it more so that it's increased. Because right now it's kind of her just being shitty in her head.
But I do like that juxtaposition. And then you have like this slow building dread that goes with it. Like, oh, it's not just discomfort. Like it all ties back to.
I do want to have her be, because right now she's like, I'm the shit. And I want her to have her be more human. Like I want to make her be sweating a little bit. And like when the girl asks the question that she's not supposed to ask, I want her to have some kind of internal reaction. And so there is stuff I want to go back and like, I definitely am someone who does read back and edit that before I continue. So that's probably what I'll do. So maybe before you make any comments, I'll probably do that. And then I'll let you know, like, okay, tear it to shreds, please. That's the other thing. I am somebody that is totally okay if you go through and you're like, this doesn't work, please just comment. Do not save my feelings.
I will probably leave like plot or character related things, like sentences. It's a first draft. I don't see the point in tearing anything to shreds.
Yeah, 100%. But even if you're like, this expression doesn't work, or like this is a metaphor that did not work for you.
I'm fine with that as well.
In your metaphor.
But you're dragging out this metaphor a lot, and I'm going to tell you right now, I don't like it.
I need you to stop this. Anything like that, I am not sensitive. So
same.
Okay, cool.
We've been writing long enough.
Well, I think we're familiar enough with each other's beta reading styles too, that this is not going to end in tears or anything. I'm not gonna be like, time to
like, oh wow, Erin must hate my writing.
That's why I asked you to co-write with me. You're terrible.
Exactly. You're like, it would be a challenge, just the worst writer I know, co-writing with her.
That is just a excellent career move.
Yeah, totally. How could it go wrong?
I am very excited though. It was definitely a case of like putting it off to the last minute. And then when I started writing, like I said, it was like at 10:30 before bed. And I wrote, I think until 12 or something, and then went, oh, I should probably stop. But once I got into Lily's head, I was like, I think I'm really going to enjoy writing her because she's just a bitch. She's a terrible person.
Yes. There's just something really fun about writing people who are just looking out for themselves.
100%. I don't know what it is. Like, I like a good morally gray character, but somebody that rides the edge between like, she's more than morally gray, she's maybe a little bit terrible, is really fun to write.
Yeah, I agree. You were talking about the Maggie Seawater class, and I was thinking about how we were talking about it in writing group, and I was like, oh man, I want to find like something to do to be working on my craft, because it's like that's really the only thing you have any control over is whether you get better at writing. And then just perfect timing, Erin Bowman's Plotting with Revelations class had a flash sale.
Nice.
And it was like $200 off. Like it was such a bargain. I was like, it's so cool. Now in my price range. So I jumped right on that. It's been so good. I'm loving it so much.
Is it like a Zoom thing as well, or how is she doing it?
It's primarily text-based, and then she has videos at the end of each one to answer FAQs, and then she has these worksheets
cool.
that really help you hash out like what are the revelations, the revelatory experiences that your character is having.
Cool.
And so I'm going to do it for my vampire book, has like 5 POVs. I'm going to do it for all of them. But it's definitely just, I feel like I really understand plot structure quite well, but I haven't thought as deeply in the past about the structure of a character's arc. And this is focused on that. Because I feel like it's one of those things where like if you have a good plot, it's pretty easy to naturally bend a character arc to it. But it's been fun to think about the character arcs scientifically, and it was like giving me some ideas for Eden as well. Just like, oh, I should be like thinking about these things that are going to challenge the lies that she believes.
That's awesome. So you're doing Eden's chapter 1 right now, right? What part are you at, out of just sheer curiosity?
It's just like they're like cleaning up after a service. So Prophet Senior, who, what did I name him? I named him something. Joel. Yes. So she's with Joel and Cyrus. I'm kind of envisioning that Prophet Senior's mom is like long dead, but she was in the prologue.
That makes sense.
But yeah, so they're just kind of tidying up, and they're about to head down this like long spiral staircase.
Nice. That's awesome. I'm not anywhere near, another page, but I'm thinking, I think I had a little note on it, but I think I'm gonna do like an awkward publishing dinner.
Yes, I love an awkward dinner scene so much.
So I don't know if I'm gonna do this or not, but I remember the first time I had dinner with my editor, I ordered a noodle dish, which was just the worst decision that I've ever made. Because it was the first time that I had met her, and she's like, let's go for dinner, I'll take you out to dinner. And we went to just a beautiful restaurant. It was absolutely beautiful. And I got something with noodles and chopsticks, and I was like, this was a disastrous choice on my part. It was okay, she's so chill. And then we were laughing because she also did the same thing and ended up getting sauce on her, and we were both just we're both disaster beings. That's awesome. But I kind of want to do something, I don't know, because I feel like Lily's such a snob that she would be thinking like I can't order anything that won't make me look good, so I can't do something like quite like that. Oh, maybe her like nemesis orders a noodle dish and makes an absolute troll out of herself, and Lily's like, ugh, but she's still mad.
Like everyone finds it charming. Like,
yes, exactly. So one of the things that I've already got in there a little bit is like, she's talking about, I should figure out what I named her.
Let's pause this for just a second, because we're gonna get kicked off.
Yes. Okay, I looked it up, and her name is Hadley. I was correct. Hadley.
Oh, I should have told you. I didn't know that. I didn't know her last name, but I knew the first one was Hadley, because it's a name I've thought about naming a character before. And I was like, really? Like, we really do just toss one brain cell to everyone in writing. Because I don't think we've ever talked about that name before, and it showed up, and I was like, oh, look at that.
Sure, of
course it's there.
What are they called? The Norns or whatever that pass the eyeball between them? That's just you and me and Kyra just passing the one brain cell between the three of us. Spooky. So Hadley Wolf, she wasn't originally going to be at dinner, but I kind of want her to be one, because I want her to order spaghetti or something ridiculous and have Lily be like, oh my God, how are you still, like, how do people love you when you do shit like this? Because she would be very much like, everything she does is like kind of posed. Like when she doesn't drink out of the water bottle, because she's like, people are going to take 500 pictures and I can't smudge my perfect lipstick. And Hadley's kind of the opposite. So I want to have her be like, I hate her because she's being 100% herself and people are still into it. And also because Lily is intensely jealous of all the attention Hadley is getting. And like, 2 years ago when my book came out, I would not have to share my publisher and my editor with this Hadley Wolf person. This dinner would have just been about me.
Like they had other clients, but none of them were like me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because I want her to be like, oh, she's like a mini me, and I haven't produced a book and she's already produced 2 or whatever. So to have this like kind of rabid jealousy starting to build up. And then she'll also be the girl that she was supposed to host and then just abandons. Ugh, I'm excited.
Me too. So yeah, I guess we'll just aim to like wrap up our next chapters.
Yes. Okay, that's very exciting. Because I'm trying to remember. I think mine was supposed to be like, I guess it's all in the folder thing, but I'm kind of like often will be hazy about how I'm ending a chapter. So I guess for this one it'll just be, or maybe the next whole scene was on a boat. I can't remember. How long do you? Yeah. Sorry,
it says on the way out, she has something that prompts her to think about her literary rival's second or third novel.
Right.
When she gets home late and half drunk, there's a letter waiting for her from Eden.
Right. Yeah. Oh yeah, because I was going to use the dinner with her publisher for her editor to be like, float the idea that she should go back to the island.
Yeah.
I'm calling it an island. Did we decide on it? Is right?
I think so. Yeah.
Island. Okay. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. Because it's a lot more isolated that way. I think we'd even talked about it being maybe I don't know if we settled on it, but an island.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So you have to take a ferry, like 2 ferries if you want to get from the mainland. It makes it difficult to get to.
Could you even believe I found stock video for that promo of a ferry going to an island with a lighthouse?
It's so perfect. So I watched it the first time, flipped out, watched it the second time, and remembered to turn the volume on, and like the crashing waves and then the friggin' foghorn sound. I was like, oh my, it gave me chills because I was wearing headphones.
I was
it's so
absolutely
good.
Just frantically, as soon as I found that video, I was like, I need the perfect audio for this.
Oh, it was so good.
It made me remember how much I used to really enjoy doing like the creative video edits that we used to do, because we don't do stuff like that ever anymore. But it was like, oh, I'm getting to mix the sound. I'm getting to do like video filters.
It was very cool. Seriously, when I watched it the first time, I was like, holy shit, this is amazing. I cannot do stuff like that. So, yeah. If you ever want to do that for our project again, you are more than welcome.
I'm sure I will want to. It was like surprisingly fun, and I have nothing to do that for lately.
Yeah. Well, and also there's no deadlines. There's no pressure.
Exactly.
If you start on a graphic, decide you hate it halfway through, no one even has to know. Nobody needs it, so
true.
Yeah. That's why, this whole project is just, I don't know. It's exciting and I really like it because it's just completely chill.
Yeah. I have been enjoying posting on social media like it's some big event that's coming, and it's like we're just writing. We're just writing more.
Oh my God. Well, I was literally gonna say to you, like, oh, what is it? We're posting the first video Wednesday.
We're posting the announcement Wednesday. And
announcement Wednesday.
So it'll have like a link to the premiere.
So we're really the premiere. Yeah. We're really just milking the shit out of the first video drop. Like it is just some giant deal.
Publishing is a hot mess, so we're just gonna treat ourselves like we're stars.
We are royalty because we said so.
Yeah. Just for this 1 month.
Yeah, exactly. So I think we should be super obnoxious and like,
that's my
tweet out. It's where I start from and just work my way up. But I think we should tweet something out or like say something else like the day before the premiere drops and just be like, oh, what could possibly be going on
tomorrow?
What's happening? Yeah, just like I loved the ominous like The Ring style 7 days. Like, it is a horror project.
It is.
So to have something that reminds you of like The Ring and hey, maybe you're going to get murdered in 7 days, I think that's fitting and appropriate.
Yeah. We talked, I can't remember if we talked about this while recording or just after we stopped recording, but we do need to come up with like a name for what we're going to call this. So I don't know if we want to do that while we're recording or if we want to do that once we're off.
I think we could brainstorm and just like show everyone everything and how ridiculous we
Because
are
why not?
all,
Why
at all
not?
the times. Did I actually save a notebook?
I wrote them down on a note card, some ideas. I have no fucking clue where they went.
Oh, look, here is random unattached paper that is just, come here. Literally just printer paper. My house is insane right now. It usually is, but right now it's like organized chaos and everything is staged. So I think I probably stole, like, it's a nice looking notebook I've been writing in. So I think I just stole it and put it somewhere to make it look like I am organized and creative. Bullshit. Okay. Random loose printer paper for brainstorming purposes.
Yeah, I remember I just had some like very generic ideas, like project spoiler, and then you could just do like a colon and then the title of what each video is about, or like spoiling our WIP, WIP.
Because we wanted an overall name for the whole thing.
Like, yeah, something that could be like, it's this, and then like brainstorming session number 1 or something, you know, something
like that,
clickbaity, get people to watch.
Something that isn't like, this is just 2 hours of self-indulgent bullcrap.
Something clickbaity enough to get someone to click it, but not so clickbaity that they'll just be absolutely furious at the title.
That balance. So let's start with the main name, which would be something. I always pictured it as like the something project, some kind of with a name project in it.
Yeah, I like that.
Which makes us sound so much more cool than we are, but
yeah. We say as if this is not a project.
Yeah, right. I always think of like, oh, this pen is done. I always think of like the Manhattan Project or whatever, which just is like
not our vibe.
No. But that's what I think of when I think of project.
I was thinking of like the Better Novel Project.
Oh, I guess that makes more sense. Well, fine. Be logical. Okay. The something project. I'm so good at naming things. Wait, I suck at titling. This is going to be. We're going to have to eventually find a title for our book too that isn't just like, let's join a cult.
I titled our draft, sometimes cult things happen to good, question mark, people.
Just like I maybe at this point when people are watching this video, we will have released it all to the public, but Maisie has titled everything Let's Join a Cult.
Yeah.
The Let's
Some
Join
variation.
A Cult music playlist and
songs that make you want to join a seaside cult.
Sure. It's just, I feel like we're going to concern people's mothers if we title this something about joining a cult. So we should probably not do that. You're like, okay.
I want people's moms to be worried that their loved ones are joining a cult.
Jeez. This is getting dark fast.
It's not really a cult, you know, just like some concern. Everyone should have a healthy dose of concern that their loved ones would be susceptible to a cult.
Right.
And if you're not thinking about it, you're not thinking about it enough.
I'm just looking at people's writing books now for like inspiration. The something writing project.
I think we don't want it to be like mega long because we want to have room for the rest of the title. So even if it's just like blank project or project blank.
Oh, project something. I have such good ideas. Ooh, project something. Project X. Why are all my pens dead? Oh shit.
The cult project, the co-author project, co-writing project co-author.
Project cults. Project join a cult with us. Project don't show this to your mother.
Unless your mother is cool.
Also wants to join a cult.
Yeah.
I think we might officially suck at titling things.
I don't know what you're talking about. It only took me 1 year to come up with the title for my vampire book.
I wonder if we need to just name the book first and then would we name it? I don't know. Because I keep looking at it as like a behind the scene fall, like write a book with us type thing. But I think write a book with us is too long of a title. Again, herein lies the problem. Because
we could do. Oh, sorry.
No, I was just gonna say I also hate the idea of calling it Project Write a Book with Us because that's terrible and it is awful.
Yeah, and I feel like once you've seen the first one, you kind of know.
Yes.
So it's more just for like identification purposes rather than like telling you what it is purposes.
It's the log line.
Okay. Yeah. We are co-writing brainstorming session number 1. Because we can take time to come up with a title for the book, but we are announcing the project in 2 days. So we have to come up with it in 2 days.
Oh no. So we don't necessarily want to name it something like Project Lighthouse, correct? Because that's kind of vague. Do we want to have something writing related in the title?
I could go either way. Like if you like Project Lighthouse, I don't think it needs to be super specific.
I just wonder if it will be, I mean, because theoretically, if we do this and we're like, okay, we really enjoy doing this and we want to do another version of this with a different book, I guess we could call it something different, or it would be in the same series, right?
Yeah.
I always want to do it like a season 1.
Yeah.
A TV series. Episode 1.
I'm trying to think of like other wordplay on like spoiler, because that is like we're spoiling everything.
Something as something as simple as like scribe or something like Project Scribe or project.
Yeah.
Why are titles so hard?
Titles are the worst.
They're the worst. Or right after synopsis. Synopsis is this bad.
I'd rather do a synopsis.
Really? Oh
I spent like so much time coming up with like book titles and stuff. And then like the second I got an agent, it was like, we're going to change this title immediately. So it was
that's true.
That was so much time that I could have just played video games or something.
Yeah, that's true.
Nothing matters. And it was a better title. That's like the worst part. All that time and the title was so much better.
My ex-agent told me that one of my title ideas sounded like a porn movie at one point. And I was like, okay, I guess that means you want to change it.
Is that a bad thing?
Since it is for children.
What child would think that?
Well, exactly.
Yeah, my title problem was that it was like A Court of Blank and Blank, and Sarah J. Maas had just started that series, and they're like, we gotta change it. We can't keep this
for you. I remember that title.
Yeah. It was a fine title.
How dare you take that title away from Maisie? That's really rude of you.
Yeah. She gave it the Project a Blank of Blank and Blank title. Just make everyone so upset. Just
project of spoilers and cults. Something.
And then you change the second word for every season.
Just all of the buzzwords that people always use. And I make fun of this as somebody who literally has a book titled like that. I just would be like Project of Smoke and Ashes, Project of Bone and I don't know, blades. Project of Blood and Smoke. But no, for real, it can't be. we're all about shenanigans, but that's
Always.
That's a little bit much.
That's a high, if it was a shorter word count, I would be all in on committing to that bit, but the character count would be too high.
It would be too high. We could always have it just be a cheeky log line at some point. Or just until we have a title, just call it stupid shit like that every time in the description. We could just call it Project Spoilers.
Yeah.
That's basic, but
yeah.
Project.
Let's do it.
Okay. Just because I have a total lack of any other ideas.
All right, so we'll call it that. And then like we could have fun little jokes. You know how I love a jokey title.
Little jokey joke.
Little joke, you know, be like, haha, I'm clever.
Okay, so Project Spoilers, and then we could definitely play with log line type things, like about the fact that yes, we are going to spoil everything for you. Behind the scenes look that will spoil literally everything about this project for you.
Yeah.
Brace yourself.
Join our cult and you can learn all the secrets of our work in progress.
I do kind of like, I mean, we have Project Spoilers, and then I do kind of like cult jokes, but I don't know how we would incorporate them into this in titles, you know.
For like the first one, we could just be like Project Spoilers, we're starting a cult.
Maisie and Erin start a cult.
Yeah. And then the thumbnail can be a little more descriptive.
Yeah. Just so people know that we're not actually trying to get you to join a real cult. I mean, maybe. Depends on how big the book gets. We might actually buy a lighthouse and tell all of you to come live with us.
Yeah.
That's a possibility.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll just see how it goes.
Sounds reasonable to me.
I'm writing all this down.
Get a big enough advance when we sell this thing, and then we will buy a lighthouse, and the launch party will be in the lighthouse.
In the lighthouse. But this is going to have to do pretty well for that to pan out.
Come on.
I can't imagine that a lighthouse comes cheap in this economy.
I am just like, I'm trying not to go search for lighthouses right now on my phone. Absolutely not allowed procrastinating my writing by looking at lighthouses for sale. Okay.
Given that you just bought a house.
It's not even a lighthouse. How stupid was that decision?
Really a mistake on your part. What could have been.
It doesn't even have a foghorn. Useless.
Oh.
Okay, so Project Spoilers, and then Maisie and Erin start a cult for the first video. I like it. There's
perfect.
A disturbing ring to it.
That's my goal in all things.
Yeah. Start at disturbing and get progressively creepier, which the whole book should be.
That's the hope.
It really like, I actually do like the juxtaposition between the prologue where you're like, did this person just actually sacrifice a baby? Wow. And then chapter 1 where we're in a stuffy auditorium listening to authors talk about their books. Yeah, I do like that. The sudden change of gears.
Yes. And then my Eden chapter, she's just gonna like, it's mostly gonna be character work. You know, meet her, meet the prophet, see a little bit about the cult, and get a little bit of like oh, this is really different. Like, where's your mom? Like, where is she? And then it ends on like a clue that she has done something. Like it's mentioned that Lily is coming, and it leaves on like this ominous like.
And do we see like matches or something?
Yeah, there's matches.
Yeah, we see a little hint of something that she's burnt down. Whoopsies. Whoops. Okay,
Flip of the fingers, burnt down a nice little hotel.
Oh, oops, I just burned down a whole motel.
That's my bad.
Sorry. And then we talked about I don't know if we wrote it down, but we talked about the scene on the boat, having Lily actually cruise past the like burned out husk of the motel and being like, well, I guess mom and dad are I am really looking forward to writing the scene on the boat, actually, with that, like, with the dread kind of. Are we for timeline? Do we have timeline written down? Because that's something I often do struggle with, as far as like, it'll be in the afternoon and then it's suddenly in the morning and stuff like that. I don't know if we have that written out.
We have a setting notes section on our Let's Join a Cult book skeleton document. Because so like we have some notes in there, but we can leave. I know in my prologue I popped in and I was like, oh, just leaving a note here. Eden's mom is named Tracy. Prophet Senior is named Joel.
Right.
Here's this idea I had for later. Like,
and so it's in, so when Lily is arriving, because you're writing a scene where Lily is arriving that night type of thing, or in the evening, it's
got to be like before nightfall.
Yeah,
but like close to it.
Yeah, because I was thinking because we're playing with light a lot as a symbol thing. My brain does not like words apparently. And I am thinking twilight, or like that time just as the sun is setting, is like a really spooky kind of like ethereal type of feel, particularly if you're on the water and the sun is like reflecting off. So I was thinking of doing, the boat is passing by the island and the burned husk of the motel just at around that time as the sun is sinking down behind
to set
the horizon. But yeah, the setting, which is funny, it's normally something I ignore, not the setting, sorry, the timing, something normally I ignore, but it's really important for this story because we have like a curfew, basically. The foghorn goes and then we get like a Silent Hill transformation, and everyone needs to be the fuck inside now.
It does give a bit of like a ticking clock element if it's like the hotel is burnt down and I don't have time to just find anyone else who I remember who would maybe be my friend.
That's a good idea too, actually. I'm thinking, because we didn't discuss the specifics of like the sun goes down, we hear the foghorn, then the streets turn into hell, basically. We didn't really talk about if that's instant, like, because now I'm thinking like, oh, in Silent Hill, you run for cover when you hear the air raid siren. So when we hear the foghorn, is it the same thing, or is it when night falls and the foghorn is just like a precursor?
I think the foghorn is a precursor, but like it's a pretty small community. I can't imagine very many people are cutting it close.
Right. Yeah. But someone like Lily could.
But someone like Lily could, and it could be like an element of like, I don't actually know what happens if I'm out at, like, I've never looked. Has anyone else?
Well, and I'm trying to remember if we've only plotted out so far, but I think at a certain point she's having this therapist, right, who's telling her, you should talk to Eden, you should go to church, you should, like, when you're ready, you should do the things.
Probably not demons roaming the street at night.
Exactly. And so her Zoom call therapist probably would say, like, when you are ready, you could stay outside after curfew and confront your fears, and then have it go, of course, terribly, terribly wrong. I don't think we talked about that potential, but I think it would be a natural progression for Lily. Yeah. Especially if she's like, I'm seeing this stuff in my room at night. It's sleep paralysis. I need to confront my fears and show myself that none of this is real, and then goes out into the darkness and shit hits the fan. So,
or even if there's like an element of like almost like a false revelation moment, like, because some of the demons are faked.
Yes.
Not all of it. So she goes out and she like thinks this is legit and then realizes that some of it is fake. Then it's like, hey, yo, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I was right.
Did we talk about before though that she does have that revelation before she leaves? I think that it's fake.
They fake. I can't remember all the details off the top of my head, but they do fake something to her. I don't know if she knows at that point that everything is fake, or if she just assumes it all is.
She just knew that one thing
because that one was
because Lily was involved in that one.
Eden was,
excuse me, Eden was involved. I still can't keep them straight, apparently.
Yeah, I'm constantly like, no, wrong name in my head.
Know why even. I do that.
Yeah.
Weird. Yeah, because because I think she thinks it's all fake, right? So that wouldn't be, but maybe she could even catch somebody from the church faking something and have it be like that,
be vindicated.
Yeah, be that like Scooby-Doo moment where they pull the mask off the villain and it's like, you're Dr. whatever, and have her be super vindicated. And that could be at some point where's that the midpoint revelation or whatever, where it feels like you're winning and then you find out you're not.
Yeah. Excellent.
Scooby-Doo unveiling.
I'm putting that in the notes.
Okay, perfect. I was gonna say I'll let you put that in because I don't have literally anything pulled up right now. There's spooky noises outside my window now. It's just like random dogs howling outside, so that seems fun.
Yeah. Sure, there's nothing wrong happening there.
You've got the haunted house and flickering lights. I've got the Hound of Baskervilles out there. We're just really on it's the whole mood. So okay, cool. That kind of is a few new ideas, and then I don't know. I'm excited.
Keep writing. I'm excited to check in like in our next video. Will it be? No, our next one will still be a couple days out from the first one going live. I'm so curious, like who's going to be interested?
2 people.
Yes, that's all I want are like the couple people who are regulars.
Our WordNerds regulars, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even know. I would not blame our WordNerds
I wouldn't either, not at all.
If they're like, this is like 3 hours long, people.
That's why we have like 8 regulars that we see a lot. And if just like 2 are like, hey, this is kind of interesting, I will just fly high.
The funny thing is, and this might be, I mean, obviously I'm very biased because duh. But this is the type of thing that I would watch, but not like, sit there on my computer. I would put it on my phone.
I would put it on double speed.
You put it on your phone and you do the dishes or you make dinner or whatever. And like, I love shit like this, like writers just blathering on about how they plot, how they write. Like, I mean, I'm sure it's insanely boring for a lot of people, but
I would not blame anyone for being like, wow, y'all are still going.
2 hours. Yeah, exactly. Speaking of which, we have 9 minutes left. I figure we can
before Zoom kicks us off.
Before Zoom kicks us off, I feel like this is the perfect time to get a few last things in. Okay, so going forward, we just finish our chapters. I figure there's no point in giving ourselves like writing assignments to be like, I'm going to finish this one, I'm going to
have
like
something
and then something that we can kind of like discuss in the next meeting. And I want to go back into my chapter and your chapter and just jot down some little notes for later revisions when we finally get to that stage.
Sounds good.
Awesome.
Excellent.
Right. Any
I'm
final
very
notes? Yeah, me too.
Join us next time.
I feel like the videos going for, like, I don't know, maybe I'm bullshitting and this been has just as long, but I feel like these videos might be on the shorter side compared
to a more reasonable length.
Compared to when we were plotting, because like you could just plot all day
forever. Yeah.
Exactly. So these are just more check-ins for how we're going. And I think Maisie and I talked about this. I think if you stick with us for these videos as well, we'll probably be picking out lines or paragraphs, whatever we're comfortable sharing, and actually like, I don't know if we want to like throw it up on screen or what. Maisie's the technological one here, so
I don't know how that works in Zoom.
I don't know. You can figure something out for
Yeah.
Or even just, if I'm so low tech, I'm happy just reading it out loud. Like if I'm like, oh, this line Maisie wrote was really amazing, I'm going to read it out next time because it's my favorite thing from what she's written so far type thing.
Yeah, I love it.
Cool. Just so people can have a taste of like what is actually going down on the page. And then I assume at points we can share on Instagram or Twitter or something.
Yeah.
Longer passage.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Excellent.
Sweet.
You know where to find us. We'll be back here. Still talking about this
Still
book.
talking.
Like and subscribe if you haven't. But if not, you know where we are. Thank you for watching.
Bye.